Dr. Jaffe, is it possible to reduce or reverse activity of autoimmune diseases like Hashimoto's autoimmune thyroiditis and rheumatoid arthritis by using the LRA by ELISA Act test and PERQUE Nutraceuticals?
The answer is yes. And the longer answer is that we have the most successful community-based outcome study following this approach: LRA tests, a plan that includes targeted supplementation and ways of evoking your healing response, that is applicable to every autoimmune condition, from Hashimoto's thyroiditis to adrenalitis to any itis. Anything that ends in itis is a repair deficient, a repair deficit condition that starts with repair deficit inflammation, because inflammation really is repair deficit, and then moves on to self-attack, which is autoimmunity. In the last 35 years, with thousands of consultations to us about Hashimoto's thyroiditis, we only found one case out of thousands and thousands that did not respond to what we recommended. And it turned out that person was very unusual. And it wasn't just thyroiditis, it was a lot of metabolic and other issues that did not allow this person to benefit from what essentially everyone else had benefited from. So when you stop the immune attack, when you change the diet to foods and consumption that people can digest, assimilate, and eliminate without immune burden, and you stay well hydrated, that means herbal beverages and water are your beverages of choice. And yes, I like coffee and I like black tea, and I always have an extra glass of water if I have coffee, which I often do in the morning. And so you can enjoy the parts of life that you enjoy in moderation and still stay well hydrated. Still allow your pituitary to be controlled by your pineal, which we specialize in, to send messages from the master gland, the pituitary, to the thyroid, but also to the adrenals and the pancreas and the ovaries and testes, and a bit to the spleen and liver to do its job. Hashimoto's thyroiditis is a venerable condition. If I remember my pathology, the original thyroid condition was called Decravains, and that's end-stage burned out thyroiditis, and that was about 1890. Hashimoto, if I remember, was active in the 1920s. So we actually have been observing hyperthyroidism for many years, and most of us today still misunderstand it. A healthy TSH, a healthy thyroid stimulating hormone, a healthy TSH is 0.5 to 2.5, says the Endocrine Society and the Thyroid Society. But if you look at the lab ranges, they have been getting wider and higher because there are more hypothyroid people in the population. So TSHs above 2.5 suggest hypothyroidism. TSHs below 0.5 is what you will find at certain stages of Hashimoto's thyroiditis, indicating too much thyroid stimulating hormone because of excitoneurotoxins, because of too much consumption of anti-nutrients that turn out to be excitoneurotoxins, too much exposure to toxic minerals that you haven't gotten out using the C cleanse and other approaches that we have to remove the bad stuff and get the good stuff in. So Hashimoto's thyroiditis, an autoimmune disease, usually treated with suppressive therapies that have marginal benefits. But our approach to every autoimmune condition, starting with Hashimoto's thyroiditis and including all of the autoimmune diseases, all of the autoimmune afflictions, is to start with the LRA test and plan. The health appraisal questionnaire allows us to guide supplements. We can give self-assessments to make sure you do stay hydrated. You can check your digestive transit time to see if you need to check your microbiome and your digestive tract further. 12 to 18 hours is the healthy range. You can check how much ascorbate antioxidant you need to deal with the oxidative burdens of your daily life. That's the C cleanse. And all of these are available and essential to rehabilitate the pituitary to thyroid or pituitary to organ healthy function. So if you suppress the thyroid because of hyperthyroidism, you never address the cause and the person won't really get well. So measure the TSH, measure the free T3 and the free T4. And if they've been taking T3 supplements, measure the reverse T3, because very often the people with Hashimoto's thyroiditis and other thyroid disorders have a receptor problem due to metabolic acidosis, magnesium choline citrate deficit, oxidative burden, which is ascorbate antioxidant deficit. And that's why we want you to take ascorbate based on your C cleanse, stay hydrated based on the self-assessment, and restore balance in the messages coming from the central nervous system and pituitary to the thyroid and to the rest of the body. And then there are a whole family of autoimmune repair deficit conditions known as the arthritides. And last time I checked, depending on how carefully you want to parse the diagnosis, there are over 100 different arthritis diagnoses that you can parse, all of which lead to suppressing the inflammation and further impairing the repair of the joints, because arthritis is really a joint repair deficit condition. And this test and its plan over months, not in 20 minutes and not in 20 years, but over months, can evoke your healing response, can restore balance in the joints, and the arthritis goes into remission, in the glands, and the Hashimoto's goes into remission. And when we've been in remission for 50 years, we can talk about a cure, because you don't cure an incurable disease, but you can put it into remission indefinitely, and that's what we specialize in.
Thank you, Dr. Jaffe.